This is my minimalist survival kit. This is what I carry with me in case I ever get stuck out overnight, whether I'm hiking or driving or just out exploring. It's not an ultralight fantasy, it's not a bug out bag, it's just real gear that I trust with zero fluff. Here's what I carry. A knife, a ferro rod, a Tinder pouch packed with homemade fire starters, a water purification straw, at least 10 meters of paracord, a space blanket, a whistle, and a small medical tin. This is a carbon steel fixed blade. It's nothing fancy, but it's full tang, it's sharp, and it's reliable. I'd say the knife is the most important part of any survival kit. It's pretty much the foundation of bushcraft and survival. With a knife, you can start a fire by striking a ferro rod. You can baton and prepare wood. You can even cut down a small tree if needed to gather some firewood. A ferro rod is also an extremely vital part of a survival kit. Without a ferro rod, you'd have to go out and start a bow drill fire or a friction fire, which no one wants to do. While ferro rods won't burn as hot as a lighter or a match, they're good in the sense that they're waterproof. So in wet conditions, this will always throw sparks regardless of how wet it is. And not only that, this chunk of ferrocerium will last a very, very long time. This could last many years depending on how often you use it. So it can stay in your kit for a long time and then never leave it. Ferro rods take some getting used to and require a bit of practice, but once you master it, it's an extremely valuable tool and it takes up zero space in your kit. Next is a Tinder pouch. I always recommend taking a Tinder pouch with you when you're out in the wilderness. Even though you can get natural fire starters when you're out in the bush, you never know what the conditions are going to be like, and in a survival situation, it's better to just come prepared and have something that you know will work. Now personally, what I take in my Tinder pouch are cotton balls rubbed in Vaseline. This is a very, very popular fire starter. They're super easy. Just buy a bag of cotton balls and buy a container of Vaseline, dip the cotton ball in, rub it around, make sure it's nice and wet, and then into the pouch it goes. This pouch here, I've probably got about 100 cotton balls, which is 100 fires. And that just sits in your survival kit and you never have to worry. Next is a LifeStraw. This is probably one of my most favorite camping items that I own. It takes out all the anxiety around drinking water out in the bush. You can find the most disgusting water sources and stick this straight in, take a gulp, it'll taste clean and pure and you'll be safe. I recommend absolutely everyone carries one. It can save your life in so many different situations. So I like to take this over something like water purification tablets because this is reusable. This can filter up to about, I think, 10,000 liters before it needs to be replaced. Some people prefer to get the bags that you fill up and then hang from a tree and then it filters down into a bottle. Now, personally, I just prefer this straw because it's small, compact, lightweight, and it's just simple. Next is a space blanket. Space blankets are really good at reflecting heat and trapping heat. So if you're in an emergency situation without a blanket or a sleeping bag, you can quickly wrap this around you and your body heat will begin to trap inside the blanket and reflect it back onto you and keep you warm. It works especially well as if you're around a campfire and then you open up the blanket near the campfire, the fire will let it into the blanket and really toast you up. So if you're waiting for rescue, this could get you through the night. These are super lightweight, they're absolutely tiny, and there's no reason not to take one in your kit. Next is paracord. Paracord is gold when you're out in the bush. You can use it for shelter building, gear repair, or even replacement shoelaces. This can do everything. I don't go anywhere without at least 10 meters of paracord. Next up is the whistle. Whistles allow you to signal for help really easily. If you're wounded, it can be really hard to yell and shout for hours on end, and by simply just blowing into a whistle, you can do it for a lot longer. You should check your area, but in Australia, the emergency signal is 3 long bursts, followed by 3 short bursts, followed by 3 long bursts, and so on. And last is the first aid kit. A first aid is obviously very important to bring, and you can sort of customize your kit and bring things that are relevant to you. But I'd say the most important things are bandages and something to sterilize wounds, such as iodine or alcohol wipes. Now in Australia, we've got some really nasty snakes, so it's especially important that we bring a compression strap, which will help cut off the blood supply and reduce the venom flow throughout the body. This certainly isn't a trauma kit, but it's enough to stop bleeding, patch a wound, and clean a cut. It's lightweight and life-saving. A lot of people like to store their survival kits inside of a small tin or pouch. Now for me personally, I like to choose a satchel. This means that I can not only store my survival kit, but I could also store additional things in here, like a book or some food, etc. You've got a bit of wiggle room to add some things to it. And a satchel is nice to carry if you're just out on a bushwalk rather than holding onto a little pouch in your pocket. And the other thing is, if you've got your survival kit packed away inside this satchel, if you decide to go out for a camping trip, you can very easily put this inside of your backpack, and it sort of acts as a storage divider. You know that all your really important gear will be in that satchel, and then you've still got a lot of room in your backpack to work around that, to put some less important items around it.